All right. Good evening, everybody. We are coming up on finally seeing the effects of this storm beginning to make impact for us here. What we've seen most of the day, as you know, is the nor'easter that has been coming in that will actually force this storm out hopefully quickly over the ocean. But over the next several hours, we're going to start to see our conditions begin to deteriorate further, and expecting the worst of this storm has to offer for Jacksonville somewhere between 11 p.m. and 11 a.m. tomorrow, with the highest winds probably around 8 o'clock in the morning, and then starting to taper off after that. But this is the time that we hope people will just decide that we're getting into evening hours. Go ahead and get home, get off the roads. Certainly stay off the interstates if you can, and there's still room in the shelters if you do need to get to a shelter. But we're hoping that at this point you've gotten to where you need to go, and you can hunker down for the evening. As you know, I'm sure from watching the news on your own stations, this is a Category 3 storm, and is going to make landfall, and it really is beginning to make landfall just south of the Tampa Bay area, and will head across the peninsula pretty quickly. So we certainly continue to keep our neighbors to the south in our prayers. Duval County's tropical storm warning, tropical surge warning. Actually, the hurricane watch for us has now been dropped, from my understanding. That's right, right? Okay. Hurricane watch is dropped. Flood watch does remain in effect. We'll start to see tropical storm force winds late this evening, as I said, through Thursday morning. Those will be highest around the beaches and intracoastal and high-profile buildings. May occasionally see a gust of up to 60 to 70. Inland areas, 25 to 40 miles per hour, with occasional gusts 40 to 50. Much of the impacts that you've seen so far today, like I said, have not been associated actually with this storm. But we're expecting a rainfall of 1 to 4 inches with locally higher amounts. So better on that front than we were expecting earlier in the week. We're also anticipating 2 to 4 feet of storm surge at the beaches, along parts of the intracoastal, and in flood prone areas along the St. Johns River that we already saw some flooding with Helene. You can expect street flooding at the height of this storm, as well as at peak tides on Thursday and on Friday afternoon. Even into the weekend and next week, we'll have those king tides, so you'll see some street flooding along with those tides as well. Our beaches have a red flag advisory due to the strong rip currents and rough surge. Our beaches mayors are begging you to please stay out of the water. We don't have lifeguards out there. There will not be anybody out there to help you. So please just stay. I know it's a curiosity, but please stay out of the water at the very least. Our new updates for this evening, here's our current shelter numbers. We have 614 people that are sheltering in our 6 shelters. That's 582 general population and 32 special needs folks that are in our shelters. We have approached to what is this? Let's see. No, I've got the wrong page up here. That's not good. I'm out of order. Give me 1 second. We've approached 22 to 27% capacity in a couple of the shelters, which is well under the 75% that we told you we were going to take a look at before opening additional shelters if there was need from folks that were coming in from other places. So we feel very good that we're not going to have to open additional shelters at this point. JTA currently has 2 routes on flood detours. That's Route 8, LaSalle Street between San Marco and Hendricks, and Route 19, Market Street between First and Orange near FSCJ downtown. Flood detours will continue to be announced as weather conditions demand. We have spot detours that will be implemented for any debris in the roadways, and service will be suspended if and when sustained winds hit 35 miles per hour. JTA buses will run service tonight until normal shutdown, as long as it remains safe to do so. And since the storm will be its worst in the early morning, they're going to delay opening normal service tomorrow until about 9:30, or until it becomes safe to do so. So please plan accordingly on that. However, they will still be available for shelter rides earlier than 9:30, assuming that it's safe. The St. Johns River Ferry, Skyway, and Clay County Flex Magenta line are closed today and tomorrow. So I know that I've seen some of you out reporting the Tiger dams one has been set up already. 2 more are going up at the beaches, and that is occurring as we speak. Maybe done by now because it only takes a few minutes to set those up, so those will be in place. Um, Again, I know we're hearing a lot of reports about gas. A lot of people have been getting gas at certain gas stations. We still have plenty of gas, although it will run out occasionally and they'll have to send a truck to replenish, but we have plenty of gas supply. So that remains the case today. But I will tell you that the gate gas stations have decided to close all their stations at Jacksonville as of 5 p.m. They felt like that was going to be the safest thing for their employees, and so they decided to close both the stores and the pumps. So you can't go to a gate station anymore this evening. They'll reopen as soon as it is safe to do so, and each location does have power. Daly's has no plans to close their stores at this time. A few of their stations did run out due to high demand, but they have been able to since resupply within a few hours. So their refueling focus will be on the stations that are along major routes. Again, no gas shortage. Okay, so I want to tell you about something that was really inspiring for me this afternoon. I got to go over to the Prime Osborne, joined Chief Powers to send off our 12 emergency road access teams who are now heading south to help our neighbors after Milton goes through. Each has 10 courageous and dedicated people from JFRD, JSO, and line crews. And they're the same teams that we sent initially to Cedar Key and Madison when we had Helene. Then they went directly up to North Carolina and helped with the efforts to clear the roads and try to find folks who may still be stranded there. They came back here last night. They got 1 night of sleep. They washed their clothes. They loaded their trucks. And today they took those trucks and they headed down to Ocala where they will stage. And those teams who are frankly considered, our teams are considered the most elite teams. We basically started this whole process here, and others have then taken our model and used it. But I will tell you that those teams are going to be the teams that are sent to the hardest hit areas as soon as it is safe for them to do so when this storm passes down south of Tampa. And I just want to offer my thanks and my prayers to them. That is a very, very tough job. I know they're exhausted. I know their families are exhausted. But it was a great honor to be able to send them off and tell them how much we all appreciate their service this afternoon. Speaking of heroes, NAS Jax is also housing 100 doctors and nurses who will be heading down to the Tampa Bay area soon to help as well. So we really appreciate that. Earlier today, we mentioned that the Equestrian Center has 300 horses that were evacuated. They have more on the way, and they're trying to make it a good experience, a fun experience, in as much as it is possible for folks who have to be there. And they're setting up rinks for the people and horses who are utilizing that as a shelter. The center has not had this many horses in it since 2017. So I'm glad we were able to provide that. In terms of yard waste, the city and beaches teams have been working hard since early this morning to complete final yard waste pickup before conditions got too dark or too stormy. If you have yard waste that is still in your yard that could become a projectile that has not been picked up at this point, please try to move it close to your house or someplace where it won't fly around and go through somebody's window. And I promise you it will be picked up just as soon as it is safe to do so. We'll start those pickup operations just as soon as we can. Jacksport is now operating at port condition Zulu, which means the port is closed due to high winds that are incoming, and they will monitor and reopen as soon as it is safe to do so. We had a question earlier today from someone who is here about city assistance programs outside of what FEMA offers. So the City of Jacksonville Social Services Division can assist with rent, mortgage, and utility assistance for citizens who qualify. Now that funding isn't usually used for storm events, but for families that are facing financial hardship. But that is a route, a resource that is available, and you can also call 630-CITY to see if you qualify for that. But since we're going to go there, let me simply talk about what is available to folks through FEMA. In terms of FEMA, you can receive an immediate $750 from FEMA as you apply for additional funds after that. There's also another program that will allow you to, if you qualify for that, receive $41,000 in FEMA assistance. And then there's another level for ADA needs like ramps and chairs and things of that nature, that you can also apply for disaster assistance at disasterassistance.gov. So there are a lot of avenues that you can take if you do need more assistance after this storm. JEA will have electric and water crews working tonight until it is no longer safe, and then crews will pick up restoration efforts tomorrow when conditions allow. You can report any outages through jea.com or by calling 665-6000. Again, I'm asking for you to please be patient. We know as the winds pick up, we will have outages, and they will be addressed just as quickly and safely as they possibly can. So we're asking for your patience on that front. Our new Jack's Ready transparency dashboard is already live at jacksready.com. Oh, also, and I forgot to mention this earlier, if you would like to download that video of the ERAT teams that were leaving earlier, that is on jacksready.com/Milton. So if you'd like to have that for your use, that is on that website. You can also see how many visitors and users have been staying up to date on the storm updates and how to be prepared on our new transparency dashboard. I'm proud to say that more than 108,000 citizens have utilized this important resource, and that is more than 3 times the traffic we had during Helene. So I'm glad that people are heeding that and picking up on it, because we are keeping literally every update we have, every bit of information you need on that Jack's Ready website. So please continue to use it. I don't know that we need to go into the rest of these older. I don't think you all have the shelters. I think you know what they are. They're on Jack's Ready. If you still need to know where they are, no evacuation orders for us. And I will just say that JTA is going to continue to provide rides to the shelters, and you can also call 630 City if you have a special medical need. I do want to make sure that we point that out. Airport, as far as I have last been told, airport is still open. Airport is still open. Passengers are strongly encouraged to check with their respective airlines to verify schedules before coming to the airport. The airport remains open as long as there are flights going in and out that don't get canceled. I think that's about it. We've got our public works teams with 7 pumps at the LaSalle pump station, and another one to handle the roadway flooding in San Marco. We have more pumps in reserve to deploy across the city as we need them. At this point, we don't know if we will, but we have them if we need them. I think you already know that public safety is going to monitor the bridges and close them as they see fit. They'll close them, they'll open them as the gusts come and go over 45 miles per hour. If you see a down power line that is live, or if you see a down power line that is live, you should probably call 911. If you see a down power line that is just down, call 630 City. If you think it's an emergent situation, call 911. If you don't, call 630 City, please. And I think we've already given the information on the waste pickups. They'll resume as soon as I believe Friday. All Thursday solid waste and recycling will be suspended. The suspended one from Thursday will be rescheduled to Saturday. Friday collection is anticipated to occur as normal. So at this point, I'm going to open this up to any questions you have. I mentioned earlier today that I was very excited to see that, that through the leadership of Council President White, the council voted today to send $150,000 to the American Red Cross locally. We had some of our other local authorities jump into that, and so JTA, JEA, and the port all pitched in another $50,000. So thanks to Council President White's leadership, we have sent $300,000 to the local Red Cross, and we really appreciate his heart for the city. So that is a huge help to an organization that is at this point really getting threadbare. So anybody else that wants to jump in and help the Red Cross, I know that we would all appreciate it. And now I will open it up to any questions if you have any for any of the folks back here, for Al at the National Weather Service, or for any folks that are here with us tonight. Yes, ma'am. Listen, I think you all probably have video of me filling sandbags that we have sent over to Kenai Drive in the past, and that was a couple of years ago. I will tell you that since then, I have really been presented with a lot of different research on sandbags that really say to me that they are not very effective. I think they provide a sense that you are doing something, but I'm not sure that they actually do much to relieve the water intrusion into the homes. Um, Let me say this about Ken Knight Drive. I feel terrible for those folks over there. That's why we have provided shuttles out of there all day long to get them to a safe place. And I will tell you that one of the very first things I did when I came into office, and I know I'm not the first person that tried to do this, we offered every single person over there an opportunity for us to buy out their homes at a pretty generous amount of money to get them to move to a place that was safe. There is not a way to protect Ken Knight Drive. It is a place that is now basically surrounded by water. And so tiger dams won't help over there. Sandbags are really not going to do much to help over there. And at some point, I hope that folks will take what the city is offering and get out of there and get to a better place to live. I know it's emotional for a lot of people to leave a place they've been for a long time. I also know that a lot of those folks are renters, and it's not up to them. The folks that own the homes don't want to sell them, but it would be an extraordinary endeavor to try to provide sandbags for a city that has 850 square miles of folks who believe that sandbags will be helpful. When I don't see the evidence that says they are really helpful, so that's where I am on it. I know there will be people that disagree with that. I know there are other counties that have decided to provide that. But as far as Ken Knight Drive goes, I think the ultimate solution, and I will say as we continue to see our oceans rise and our rivers rise because they're warming and because we are having more and more water, at some point that is just going to have to be a decision that they make to go elsewhere. Yes. What they're saying is they'll open as soon as it is safe to do so. We do not have a timeline on when the gate stations will reopen. As far as we know, the daily stations are going to remain open. But as far as we have been told, it's just gate that's decided to close at this point. Also, the second question is that you were asked us what's the process for the entire dam of breaking it down, emptying the water? Is that water going to be released? Where is it at with the water, the rain that we're getting right now? Okay. I'm sure that my suspicion and my belief is that they're going to do that in a very safe way, like they do every time they have to use those things. That the tiger dams should remain filled until we can empty them. I don't think there would be any reason to empty them in the middle of stormwaters. That the whole reason they're there is to try to prevent those. So these have been very effective tools, especially in supporting buildings. It's going to be interesting to see how they work in terms of actually blocking water on the beaches. I think that's a relatively new use, but we're hopeful that it will be at least somewhat effective for our beaches as well. Anybody else? Okay, folks, thanks very much. We will see you again tomorrow morning at 12:05. Okay, see you then.